Looking for a way to ease your loneliness and find solace in your everyday routine? Check out the Lonely Lads podcast, made for lonely old lads like you. Join our host, a friendly and compassionate woman, as she keeps you company while you do your chores or simply relax. With her comforting voice and kind words, you'll feel like you have a close friend by your side.
Are you listening? I said, are you listening to me? I was saying to you there now about Margaret from down the street. You know Margaret, don't you? Margaret was married to your man John, the fella that did 10 years. Well, she dropped dead inside Tesco the other day. Apparently she fell off the top shelf. She was going up there for she was trying to get this family pack of Tyler rolls. That reminds me, actually, we'll have to go down and get Tyler rolls because we're completely out of them.
So why not take a break from the distress of being completely alone and take comfort in the Lonely Lads podcast?
Who's drinking all the milk? I don't know what's going on with the milk. I'd buy 4 litres of milk and it's gone.
Tune in today.
Anyway, what was I saying to you?
And let Betty soothe your soul.
You don't be listening to me at all.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Engage.
This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Go!
Just one more thing.
I want to go to there.
Bitch!
The language. Unbelievable.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Rowe believed that whatever they're planning, it's somehow tied to Starfleet's Frontier Day.
No better stage on which to make a statement. In less than 48 hours.
We're running out of time. We have no leads.
Which is why we must return to the beginning.
To the scene of the crime, Daystrom Station. Home to Starfleet's most off-the-books tech. Experimental weapons, alien contraband.
A few months ago, Vadic stole a handful of classified weapons, namely the portal device you encountered. Its use at the recruitment center, we believe, was merely a distraction.
To conceal what? The theft of something else?
Steal the diamonds so nobody checks on the pearls.
It's obvious they stole a weapon 10 times more deadly.
So we're looking for a smoking gun that no longer exists.
Then we just follow the smoke.
The only way to identify and retrieve this weapon is by getting a hold of Daystrom's project manifest, its inventory.
Which is heavily redacted in the files that Rowe was able to gather.
Exactly. But the raw data should be on a computer in the station's primary vault.
So we burgle the very institution hunting us.
Excellent use of the word burgle, Admiral.
Hello, and welcome to the Best Bits TV talk show, where we talk about a show on TV. I'm Will Collins, and as always, I am joined by Kevin Lehan. Kevin! Hello, how are you?
I'm grand, Will. How are you?
I'm floating amongst the stars, Kevin. I'm floating amongst the stars. Every time I get to
You look more and more disheveled every time you come on mic.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I was hoping you were going to say the opposite. I said this is going to go one of two ways. I'm going to look refreshed or disheveled. You're saying disheveled.
You look fantastic. This episode is episode 6.
Yes. Shall I give you a synopsis on episode 6?
Yes. Who's it directed by and who's it written by?
Yeah. Well,
prompt.
This episode is called The Bounty. It's directed by Dan Liu and the writer is Christopher Monfett. And the synopsis is this. Now on the run, Picard and the skeleton crew of the USS Titan must break into the Starfleet's most top-secret facility to expose a plot that could destroy the Federation. Picard must turn to the only soul in the galaxy who can help, Geordi LaForge.
This is the last episode that was provided to the media before the release to give critics an advantage on what they thought of the show so they could write their reviews.
Interesting.
They gave them the first 6. And I think they gave them the first 6 because this is the one where finally every TNG cast member appears.
And how many episodes in total for the season?
50.
I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to 50 of these episodes.
10.
Well, Kevin, what did you think of Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 6, The Bounty?
I loved it. Okay, so we'll be back next week for Dominion. You can watch this episode now on Paramount Plus and on Amazon Prime. Will, good to talk to you.
Yeah, good luck. See you next week. Bye.
I don't know what else to say. I'll put it this way. This is my favorite hour of television each week. And it's not because it's the best hour of television, but it's the one that gives me the most feels. I get really caught up in the nostalgia of it all. I just love it. And I got emotional again twice watching this. I didn't cry, but I got choked up. And,
yeah.
How did you feel?
Listen, I'm in lockstep with you because I was there watching it. I went, how many times? I wonder how many times Kevin's going to fall apart watching this episode. But I did get choked up once watching this. I just find this show in general to be a delight, and it's as the season progresses. Yeah, as the season progresses, I think I'm growing in my affection. Not only to the old cast, because I already have an affection to the old cast, but I'm growing in my affection to the new cast. And how it's so well handled. The themes of parenthood.
Sorry, it's just as you said that, I started laughing about a moment that's coming up, but sorry, I don't want to sidetrack you.
Right, I thought you were laughing about something I just said.
Laughing at parenthood.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, the themes of parenthood. I think they're doing the member berries in just the right way. There might be maybe a little bit one or two too many member berries in this episode, but still, but I still think it's fine. I think most of it is fine because the show has earned my trust. I would put it that way. So I'm kind of throw those member berries at me. I'm grand. I feel confident in the showrunners.
This one had a few more member berries than the other ones. I felt this one felt a little bit more overt. In like, remember this, remember that.
Mm-hmm. And it feels like it's encapsulating all of the series right now. It's feeling like no, we're bringing every series in right now, and we're giving that loving little kiss on the cheek, just a little kiss on the cheek for the original Star Trek Enterprise. And oh Lord, I smiled. This is what I will say. More than getting choked up, I smiled so much watching this episode. And I said on the last week's episode that of all of the high profile, big budgeted TV series that are going on at the moment on various services like Disney Plus and HBO, this is the one that I'm looking forward to. This is the one that's actually making me feel something and feel something positive, which is rare. So I think it's doing a great job. But you want to get into the specifics?
Yeah, we can do. But I'm going to preempt what you're going to say on one aspect of the episode, which is I think I know what you're going to criticize in this episode. There's going to be one element that I know you're going to go like, again!
But, yeah. It's in my notes. There's a fucking in there.
Oh, no, I didn't notice that. I didn't notice the swearing. Okay, well,
no, in my notes.
Begins.
In my notes.
All right, do you just like swear all over your notes? This fucking thing,
do,
that fucking thing.
I do swear in my notes, yeah.
Okay, so the episode begins with 3 starships meeting up.
It's cool, isn't it?
But they didn't elaborate on that, and then they cut to the Shrike. I know that they said that there are ships that they've got changelings on board. But
I thought it was very economical. I got it because you see there's a little beacon blinking, and it reads USS Titan on it. And I was like, what's this? And the 3 ships are just like shoom, 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 and they're like all pointed towards the beacon. And it's basically, for me, I went, these ships are hunting the beacon. Oh, that's what it was. That's the Titan.
Oh, they were tracking.
Yeah, it's a tracking beacon.
Oh, I thought it was like the different infiltrated starships are having a tete-a-tete. They're all meeting up.
Because they explicitly say it when we cut to the Titan later on, that Picard and Shaw are saying, we've been dropping breadcrumbs leading them off the scent. But they're still catching up to them, which he doesn't understand why they're catching up, and that's the reason. Well, it's explained later on.
Surely Shaw should know.
So that's what it is. That's what I wrote in my notes. Surely a contemporary ship crew would be aware that,
or even 7.
There's a yeah. So, but still, it's a cool visual. I thought it was really cool. These 3 Starfleet ships just coming out of warp right in front of this little beacon or tracking beacon.
Gotcha. Okay, that clears something up for me. And then we cut to Vadic, and Vadic gets her grandstanding villain moment where she says that we are going to hunt down every single person who's close to Picard until we capture him. And one of our crew members is sort of like voicing dissent and going, we've only got 72 hours till Frontier Day and you still haven't got Jack Crusher. And she blows him away. And I liked it. It felt like classic old school Star Trek. Yeah. You couldn't do this in any other show.
I just enjoy her so much. And yeah, it just feels it's something we're so used to. It's done in the right way. And seeing someone smoking on screen, it's kind of like almost cool, for lack of a better word.
It's cool, yeah. It makes me want to smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, I want to go out. I actually have a shipment. I have to get off this call early because I have a shipment coming from Fastway. A crate of Carols, whatever they were.
Oh, Carols.
Yeah.
I smoke roll-ups. And then the next scene after that, after Vadic lays down the gauntlet saying, okay, we're going to capture some of the TNG cast. After that scene, we cut to Crusher and they walk back my predictions. And I don't know how I feel about Beverly, but also about Jack Crusher. I liked what they did with Jack Crusher, where they said that he's inherited the same disease that Jean-Luc had, the Irumodic syndrome. But for that to be the explanation for the tension and the suspense that was building up with Jack, like, what's wrong with Jack? Why is he hearing voices from Beverly saying, find me? I don't know. Do you buy it? Do you think that that's the answer?
I still think it could be a bit of a red herring. I still think there's one or two twists left for us to discover in the story. Can I ask you something? I remember Picard having like a heart condition and him getting like open heart surgery in TNG. But this syndrome, like, is this something that was brought up in TNG or was it brought up in the previous seasons of Picard?
He always had the syndrome, the Irumodic syndrome.
Irumodic syndrome was a degenerative neurological disorder that caused deterioration of the synaptic pathways. The condition caused confusion, delusions, and eventually death. In the anti-time future seen in All Good Things, Jean-Luc Picard had developed advanced Irumodic syndrome by 2395. His condition caused many of his friends to doubt his claims that he has been shifting back and forth through time.
Which basically meant that he had a death sentence.
Yeah.
But I believe he also had a mechanical heart.
Yeah, I remember it being an episode in season 2 because it was that other doctor.
Got stabbed through the chest.
Yeah. So he had this trouble with his heart because of that. I would just wonder if they were connected, but they're two separate ailments. And I like what Beverly says to Picard here. She says like, please don't spend time burdening yourself when you can unburden him.
That was a great line. That was a really nice line. Don't waste energy burdening yourself. Just go and unburden him. Take it off yourself. Mm-hmm. Characters being incredibly kind to each other. And I don't know, it's catnip for me. I just love that stuff.
I'm still so impressed by the overall writing of this season. Just how neatly they actually managed to do that kind of arc across this one episode. But not just do it on one set of characters, but do it on two sets of characters, which we'll get to later on. I just think I was so impressed by it. I went, oh, that's very tidy and nice and nicely written. So kudos to the writers in this.
But were you impressed that they went back to Guinan's bar?
Because I wrote in my notes, Guinan's fucking bar again. Here we are, back in Guinan's fucking bar.
This is like their 10 forward.
Oh, God. Just give me a 10 forward and let the holodeck be the holodeck, for God's sake. Stop wasting the holodeck. There's people outside queuing up, waiting to use the holodeck for whatever sick fantasies they want to execute. But guess what? The holodeck is stuck in Guinan's bar mode because Jack is on the piss. It's just like, it's such a fucking waste. I'm so annoyed.
I liked it. At this point now, I feel like it's become part of the identity of the series, actually, which is, this is their local. This is the Rover's return. And they keep knocking up and having a couple of pints. The only thing is, why not have a holographic Guinan there?
I know. Throw her in as well, for God's sake. Of course they should have a holographic Guinan.
They wasted her on season 2.
Yeah.
So,
well, I haven't seen it.
And then, Raffi and Worf beam on board. And this is a moment where I got a little twinge. Where Crusher went up and she hugged Worf. And Picard is like, you know he doesn't like hugs.
But this is the thing, you got to twinge. I laughed out loud so many times in the scene, and generally with any scene with Worf. So fucking funny. And I love he says to Picard, he says, did he say something like, I enjoyed your sour mead?
Yeah. He's sour mead? It's a bit tart.
Fantastic. And what's great is that Riker's always in the background to give the kind of the zinger line to kind of like, and you don't even see, we just see he's out of focus and he'll throw in a line just to make the joke really work. Like, you know, it's just so funny. The show's so fucking funny.
Riker just likes taking the piss out of his friends. And then Worf briefs the team and he says that they need to break into Daystrom Station, or basically they do what they used to do on TNG, which is they all sort of hash it out amongst themselves and brainstorm, and they come up with a plan to get around the table. And,
didn't that feel like it felt like we were back in TNG. It was just like, right, start act one of the episode, kind of lay out the parameters of the mission ahead. It's classic. It's great. It feels like one of those episodes. Fantastic. Well done. A+.
Yeah, and they realize that what they need to do is they need to break into Daystrom Station to get the file logs, which will tell them exactly what was stolen from there and to what end. But it's heavily guarded by AI. And Picard says, well, we need somebody to volunteer to break in. Which one of you is going to be? And the next scene, you see that it's Worf and Raffi. And I wonder how this plays for you, because as I said, in the earlier seasons of Picard, we learned that Raffi and Seven were in a romantic relationship. That came out in season 2. So they're touching on it on this. They've broken up. They're not together anymore. But Worf picks up on it.
For me not knowing... Well, again, he has... Whatever he says, I remember it just being very funny. Right? I can't remember what he says.
I've gone into battle with lovers before. He was very funny. Again, he's just right back to being dry and sardonic and oblivious in how curt he can be.
And I just remember
very funny.
At the very end, just before the scene ended, Riker's in the background going, "We're all going to die."
Yeah,
it's just these.
It feels like the
comments.
movies. The old movie tone, which I love.
Or at least the Golden Six, we'll say the Golden Six movies, rather than
not the TNG
movies. Yeah. So they warp down into the Daystrom Institute, and they've got the special key, and lo and behold, the key works. They get in.
Also, the AI made me laugh, where it was. They had about 30 seconds to identify themselves, and then it goes into like armament mode, and it's like going to kill them, and they put the key in it, and it says, "Welcome to the Daystrom Institute, and please check out the commissary for whatever lunch." I thought, yeah, okay, they're having fun. The writers are having fun with this.
Yeah. It's not dour. It's not bleak and dour. It's just like, no, it's playful. It's playful, and that's the way it should be.
It's a delight, as you said.
Yeah, and then we see the Starfleet ships who are in pursuit warping in, and as a result, the Titan has to flee. And they said, "Oh, we'll be back in an hour to pick you up in an hour." It's, again, a kind of a thing that would happen in a TNG episode. Away team, you stay down there. We're going to sort some shit out in space. We'll be back to pick you up. We promise. You know.
I had to pause it to look at the screen because they walk past a few member berries, and one of them is the biometric data of Kirk.
Yeah, definitely it's Kirk. Yeah,
it is Kirk. But I was having to think. So they don't bury their dead; they keep them in this sort of interment in a museum in this station, or is it just his biometric data or whatever it was?
That's a question that hasn't been answered. It's like there's several things in here. Like the first thing they see is the Genesis device. That's the first member berry that's in this thing. And then they walk to another display and it's James T. Kirk. And then another display and there's a treble. So it kind of feels like this is just a museum for Star Trek TV show.
But I think that this is not the museum. The museum is coming up, but this is like the institute. I don't know. This is like a sort of a library. But I think they're setting that up because of what comes later with Picard. If they've got Kirk there.
Yeah. Wait, I'm curious why they put Kirk there. I would like to know more. I was joking. I was being facetious when I said it's like a museum.
You didn't watch Picard season 1 and 2, but Picard died at the end of season 1.
Oh, I was aware of it through you. That's how I think you kind of filled me in that his body that he has now is some sort of synthetic clone type body. Am I right?
It's almost like Data. It's like a human hybrid synthetic. So he doesn't have a mechanical heart anymore. He's all mechanical. But he's a cyborg, essentially.
Yeah, it's curious. Why would they have Kirk up there?
To foreshadow what they're going to do later on with Picard, I think.
Oh, really? Like
they steal Picard's body from the Daystrom Institute. That's what was stolen.
Oh, I know that, but like, why is Kirk's body in there? Is it just
to foreshadow that they can steal Picard's body later on?
I know, but specifically Kirk. I'm just kind of going, is there a reason, an alternative reason?
It should have been Chekhov because of Chekhov's gun.
Yeah.
Set up, payoff.
Yeah, I just think it raises more questions. I think it raises, hang on a second, was that just a member berry? Or is this something that is Kirk going to get resurrected in some way or shape, in a future
William Shatner
series?
is still working, so you never know.
Maybe.
They have 1 hour anyway to steal what they need to steal from the Daystrom Institute, and Picard, meanwhile, they fucked off to put some distance away from the sentry ships which are guarding the Daystrom Institute, and they're searching for any possible infiltrators. And Picard and the Titan have gone to Athen Prime, the Fleet Museum, the old space dock housing every old spaceship that we would be aware of in Star Trek. And who is the custodian of that place but Commodore Geordi LaForge?
And he's got himself a cushy number, hasn't he? Oh,
He
God,
does.
it seems like a lovely, lovely job.
I wonder how many people there were at that old decommissioned space dock, because that would house about 500,000 people. Is he just there by himself with his daughter?
Well, you would think there are plenty of travelers coming in, retired people coming in. We don't see that many ships going in and out, but
that's where the difference between the movies and the TV shows really is apparent, because in the movie they'd cut to a massive commissary and there'd be hundreds of extras just milling about and going about their day and wearing their mini skirts and what have you. But Geordi beams on board and he is pissed, but not before Crusher gives him another hug. She's here to hug people in this episode and give us all the feels. But Geordi's with his other daughter. He's got 2 daughters. And he's pissed because Picard has put Sydney, Crash LaForge, in danger throughout the season so far. And Geordi's what would you call it? What would you say? Geordi's priorities are no longer Starfleet. It's his family. And so he has to have it out with Picard. There's one thing I want to say, though, as well, as we're just talking about the LaForges. I hope that Sydney LaForge, the actress, LeVar Burton's daughter who plays Sydney LaForge, works more often after this, because I think she's great.
Oh, so Sydney is LeVar Burton's daughter, actual daughter.
Both those daughters are his real daughters.
Oh, wow. I thought it was just one or the other. I didn't realize it was both. Fantastic.
No, they're both his daughters. Micah Burton and I can't remember what the other actress is called, but they're both LeVar Burton's daughters.
Oh, really cool. That's really cool. And I also love that there's, again, I think it's really efficient writing. You get the sense that Sydney Crash LaForge is the black sheep of the family, or perceives herself to be the black sheep of the family. And that's implied so quickly, but you get it. It feels...
She's stubborn.
Very real. Yes, she is quite stubborn, but it feels very, very real. It feels relatable. And you feel that tension. Even when Geordi addresses her, there's a kind of she addresses him as Admiral or whatever it was,
Commodore.
Commodore, and he nods to her, and it's like, oh, there's no hugs there. Beverly's throwing out hugs, but they're not hugging each other or anything like that. So there's a distance there. And I like it.
I like it too. And they seem to be setting up that Jack Crusher is flirting with Sydney.
Why wouldn't they?
So what else would you do? You just found out you have a terminal illness and you're fucking about in space. And your mum and dad are sort of getting on. It's like, why not just cop off with one of the officers?
Yeah.
Might get better quarters, get upgraded into an officer's quarters. And I really love the scenes between Geordi and Picard.
Yeah.
It's a different dynamic.
I was quite surprised by him. I was surprised at how dramatically charged they were because of their competing, well, basically what they want, what Picard's asking of him, and how Geordi has changed his kind of worldview slightly compared to what it was in the TNG days. That's compelling. It's interesting.
He was always steady Eddie on TNG. It's like you couldn't really stress Geordi out. He was much more soft-spoken.
Mm-hmm.
Again, bringing the TNG cast back it's allowed Geordi and Crusher to have more of an impact on screen, because in the 4 movies, those two barely factored in at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I really resented that about the films.
And also, it's something we discussed when we were talking about our Star Trek episode, how there was no time gap between the TNG series and the feature films. So there was really no time for growth for the characters.
Yeah, that was a good point you made.
Yeah, versus now, there has been growth, in the fictional world, but also in the real world. And it does feel like these characters have had plenty of mileage behind them and have changed slightly. Like Worf softened, he's taken up meditation, but Geordi's hardened.
He's full of shit about that.
Well, I know, but I enjoy it. I enjoy the fact that he's saying Worf's taken up meditation. And he's become more humorous. That's what I would say about Worf.
But what's quite funny is that throughout this episode, Worf keeps telling people, I'm a pacifist now. Did you know I'm a pacifist? I'm a pacifist. And then at the very end, he says, I will find him, Admiral. I'll bring William Riker home, and fearful be the god or man or beast that stands in my way. So he's completely fucked off his pacifism. He's now going full beast mode to get Riker back. Yeah. But I found that funny.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, so just lovely dialogue moments, lovely conversation moments, and it's what we want as fans, is just to hear these characters engage with each other, debate with each other, and negotiate where they are in their lives now and what the stakes are for them emotionally as well as plot-wise.
It was in the scene with Geordi and Picard where the question for me, the only slight plot niggle rose for me, which is something you alluded to earlier on when we were talking about the beacon. And here, Picard goes to Geordi, basically looking for Geordi to change the identity signature, of the Titan. And Geordi explains to Picard, well, it's impossible because now all ships talk to each other, And my question immediately as well, hang on a sec, wouldn't Shaw and everyone else know this information? Unless maybe they should.
He didn't brief it with them, I don't think.
Okay, right. So Picard had this idea in his head. Okay, well that would make sense. Picard didn't. Okay, right, and he goes straight to Geordi with this plan in mind. Because that's what I like about this show is that this is like, why are they at this institute? Well, Picard has an idea. He's like, right, I'm going to buy you some time. I'm going to get out of Dodge, and I'm going to come back and pick you up in an hour. This is all being led by Picard with, kind of leading the charge, for lack of a better term. So I think it's quite good.
They're being pulled into the story in organic ways. Back at the Daystrom Institute, we've left Riker, Worf, and Raffi to navigate that sort of Fort Knox-like prison in space. And the AI system scans Riker and comes up with things that would trigger a response from him. And I thought it was to disorient or to dissuade him from going any further or confuse him. But it turns out that it could be that the AI is trying to communicate with him. And this is where Professor Moriarty pops up.
I loved all of this. Because initially I was going, hang on a second, this doesn't make sense. If the AI system is trying to keep them locked out, then why is there this music and Riker's going B flat, D major, and all this other stuff? I was like, why is this happening? But it turns out, as you just said, no, it's the opposite. He's trying to communicate with him. And oh my God, this is the member Murray that actually, a second member Murray that got me choked up actually, is that piece
the
of
encounter
music.
at Farpoint.
Yes, that got me choked up. Because it took me back, because I remember that scene. I remember watching that scene for the very first time on TV and just feeling amazed. I remember feeling, this is fucking awesome. This TV show is amazing. There's a robot man. Oh my God, look at him. And I remember that scene of Riker and Data meeting each other in the forest, in the fucking holodeck. This is 30 years ago. They could change the programs in the holodeck 30, 40 years ago.
In the Garden of Eden.
Yeah. Oh God. So I got a little member berry twinge of nostalgia emotion when they made that callback. I thought it was just really elegant and lovely.
And while this is going on, and while Geordi's sort of hashing things out with Picard and saying, look, I'm not getting involved anymore. You've put my daughter in danger. You need to prioritize what you need to prioritize, but leave my daughter out of it. She's coming with me. And Picard's like, okay, I'm not going to go against your wishes. But meanwhile, they're cutting to Seven and Jack having a little moment on the bridge. And Jack sits in the captain's chair and she's like, get up. And he goes, I just want to see how it feels. And they have a lovely little walk back through memory lane. And I just loved the dynamic of the scene. It was just this quiet moment of the two of them on the bridge. And she's like showing him ships on screen, and he's recalling what he knows about them from history. And they're playing the different music from DS9 and from Voyager. And I loved it.
It was the Voyager moment got me, because I'm currently watching Voyager, as I've already said multiple times. And the score, they brought in the theme, just gently reprised the theme tune for Voyager.
Yeah.
And you see... You see how much it means to Seven. And she was like, that's where I was reborn. And it's like, it means a fucking lot to me. And so you would know that visiting or revisiting that ship in that moment would bring back that swell of emotion for her. And I just felt it was so lovely. But the biggest fuck you for me, or not holy fuck for me, was seeing the HMS Bounty. And I went, oh my God, brilliant. Oh, I was so hoping that they were all going to get on board the HMS Bounty.
You've just taken the words away from me. I was like, is that what they're going to do? Are they going to hijack the Bounty and go back and say, oh, fuck yeah, it'd be great. The Voyage Home ship. But I have a question for you then. As they've alluded to now twice, they've mentioned Admiral Janeway, and they have spoken about now Voyager a few times in the series with Seven. Do you think that any of the Voyager crew are going to show up in this?
I honestly haven't a clue. Do you want
to know what my prediction is?
Go on.
I predicted there's going to be a big, massive fuck you space battle at the end, because they've said that they're bringing every ship for Frontier Day.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that there's going to be a view screen moment where it's different people from different franchises pop up on screen.
Oh, and
it's going to be like, Captain Barclay here. How can I be of assistance?
But you
Stay out of it.
I actually had a story meeting on a different project this morning, right? And we were talking about earning, let's say making micro appearances feel earned and weighty, right? So let me give you a bad example. Let's say a bad example of this is if you watch the new Ant-Man movie, you just see all these characters and you go, oh, there's a X from, such and such a comic, and this is X and Y from another comic. And if you know them, it's just like, they're just throwaway cameos that mean nothing to the audience. But if you lay the groundwork within a scene that we have at least one of these characters have a genuine presence and a genuine reason to be there, and that we have we feel compelled to spend time with them, then the audience will go along with you. If you are just going to have like one shot cameos of other characters later on, if you build our wave of trust and have us surfing on that wave of goodwill, then my God, they can throw they can put Kirk back on the fucking Enterprise. That's what's going to happen. Kirk's going to fucking appear. Kirk's going to be there. Shatner's coming down from space.
Holographic Kirk.
Oh my God, we're going to be there. That's what's going to happen. And I will be creaming my pants.
But I do think that we're going to see other people from different franchises pop up.
Cisco.
It's not going to be Cisco because he's a space entity now. It could be... Oh, God, there's so many people from DS9 are no longer alive.
I'm just trying to think.
It'll be Kira. Nana Visitor.
No, Worf might be flying the Defiant. He might be kind of captaining the Defiant.
No, that's decommissioned. It was back at the museum. It'll be all the current ships of the Federation that are coming for Frontier Day, the ones that are actively in service.
Oh, okay.
So the Enterprise F and things like that.
I misunderstood you. I thought they were going to be rolling all these ships from the Fleet Museum out for Enterprise Day, and I was getting really excited. I was
well, you know what? You know what? It could happen because we know that Starfleet's been infiltrated. So
yes,
some of the
no choice.
Jesus, it's going to be like the Avengers. Could it be like the Avengers where you get to see Hulk smashing shit out of Iron Man? You're going to get to see the Enterprise trading fire with the Titan.
Oh.
And then the Defiant coming in and like shooting at HMS Bounty and it's gonna be bedlam. I'll be here for it.
We're such nerds, Kevin. See what we've descended into. We've become like
our toys just have to smash into each other.
I want Enterprise A fighting against the HMS Bounty.
I want Enterprise A, B, C all shooting at each other. Warping all over the place.
I want
Go on.
I want the Dune buggy from First Contact riding over the hull of the Enterprise D and just leaping across space. You know what I mean? Like, smashing into the bridge of I don't know what Vadic's ship or something.
I just want all of the TNG cast in their own separate shuttles, and they decide to take on the fleet in 7 shuttles by themselves.
Oh,
Ant-Man style, fly up the arse of the Shrike and blow it apart.
Yeah.
Oh God, we've lost our place now. Okay, so they find in the Daystrom Institute that the AI is actually contained within data, the old model of data. Well, actually, no, it's an upgraded version of data, and it's similar to what Picard is. It's sort of a human hybrid mixed with the old data technology, and contained within data is all of the prior iterations that we've seen Brent Spiner play.
Mm-hmm. The original data, lore, lore,
B4.
B4.
B4's my favourite. B4's stupid.
Oh my
Picard.
God, oh B4. B4. Innocent, poor little innocent B4. But we also get a holographic that, like, Professor Sun.
It's funny if they turned him on. It's like they turned him on. It's like we don't know which one we're going to get. It's like, Captain, it's me. It's like, shit. Somebody hit him on the head.
Switch him off. Switch him off now. God.
Fuck him out an airlock. I'm sick of this. But yeah, the manifest is contained within data. And Geordi decided, okay, I'm on board. My daughter's convinced me. I'm with you guys. Let's go.
Hold on. Can I go back to that scene? That scene with Data's, because we get that projection. Was it Professor Sun's last recording?
Yeah.
And he basically gives the theme, or the theme of the episode, where he talks about evolution. And he said, I'm paraphrasing what I think he said, evolution is not an act of replication, just
it's
the
addition.
Act of addition. Yeah. And that is the kind of like the thematic core of this episode. And it plays.
Because this is all about the next generation.
Yes. Yeah. And not in an annoying way, like we see in the
No.
Marvel Avengers universe.
Yes. We
I
skipped
have
over
affection
one.
for all the new cast.
Yes. Of what? Marvel?
No,
are we
I
talking
enjoy
about?
all the new cast. I'm enjoying all of the new cast in in Picard. All of this season's new cast.
Oh, yeah. Me too. No, I like them. We skipped over my favourite scene in this episode, the one where I thought I love Shaw. And it was when Shaw meets Jordan LaForge on the bridge and he just fangirls over him because he's an engineer like when he was. And he's like desperate to like show him around the ship and learn what he can from him. And I just thought, this is perfect. This is exactly what you need to humanize and to make Shaw into a lovable character, which is that his hero is Jordan LaForge. I loved it.
Yeah. Isn't it great? We've gone around the houses with Shaw, and we've come out going, oh, he's a fully rounded, fully realized character, and we see all the things he loves, and we understand why he loves them, and we've seen the things he hates, and we understand why he hates them, and it's great stuff. It's great stuff. And we didn't really talk about Moriarty that much. I really enjoyed seeing Moriarty, and that was just a fun little another member Mary that I got a tickle from.
Member Berry, yeah, that was like a cameo. He just popped up for a couple of scenes, and I guess I'm glad that it wasn't more than that, but I expected it would be because he featured so heavily in the trailer.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the trailers, so it was just from you mentioning that he was there. I got really excited. I went, oh, cool. I always enjoyed the Moriarty episodes.
Yeah, there's a scene in the trailer where he's flying a ship, and so I'm sure I'm only kidding.
In the final climax, we're going to have Trebles flying ships. We're going to have Diana Troy's mother flying a ship.
You keep calling her Diana.
Her name is Diana in my head.
It's not. It's Diana.
Diana. I know it's spelled
Deanna.
No,
Diana.
I can't not. I know. I'll just call her Troy. Troy's mother flying the ship, trying to get the ride off Picard. That's what she'll be doing.
Diana Trois.
Diana Trois. Is that what she?
Under Trois.
Under Trois.
So while that's going on, Jack has basically put the thought into Sydney's head that we should just go over and steal the cloaking device from the Bounty and the Klingon ship from the voyage home. And they do that, and they install it, slightly ass backwards, so the ship is like overheating and it's going to fuck everything up. But Geordi thinks, okay, step aside, kid. All right, I think I know how to do this. And he's fully on board. He goes down, he installs the cloaking device, and they race back to rescue Worf, Riker, and Raffi, who are stealing Data's body with all of his data within it. And Riker buys them time, but he ends up getting stunned and captured, and they have to leave him behind. So the rest of them abscond in the cloaked Titan, and Riker is being captured.
And you know, this episode, for me, this episode was working. Because when Riker got stunned, I went, oh no, Riker! It's like, my affection for this character is just so huge that any sort of... I know it's great. It's great for the drama and everything like that, but I was telling you, no, don't kill him. Don't kill him now, please.
I knew that something bad had to happen because it's ingrained in storytelling. It's like things can't go their way. Something bad has to happen. It's that old thing of like, you don't go and then it's but. So whatever happens between scenes, but this happens. And they wake up Data. We've been told that we can't be sure what personality we're going to get, but we can turn him on and see what he knows.
And can I just throw in there as well, when the three of them warp back with Data, you know, and I love the little moments. Sorry, yeah, beam back. Oh, sorry, yeah, warp is totally different to beam. What am I on about? Transport's back. When Geordi looks at Data for the first time, I got the feels as well because
they were best friends.
They were the friends. It was Geordi and Data were the two nerd buddies.
Down in the basement.
They were down in the basement. They weren't the cool kids up on the bridge. They were like they kind of hung out with each other because Geordi was a bit awkward and weird.
And that never got explored in the movies. They never had any real scenes together, and it's like they were the guys that were always together and hacking up plans and stuff.
And LeVar Burton's great. Like, he was just so subtle. It was a great direction as well. Just really subtle, quiet, close up on his face as he just goes like, Data, and it's perfect.
There's only one thing about the show which I know you've mentioned that the show can be a little too dark for you, and I've sort of fallen in love with the bridge. The only thing that I get a little miffed with, the handheld, when the camera is shaking for no real reason other than just to create energy within a scene. I prefer when it's just steady, just locked off. But they'll be on the bridge and they'll be having a conversation and the camera's just like jostling about on somebody's shoulder, and it feels so unnecessary. Just keep it steady. Just let the performances pull us in. So they wake up Data, and Data tells them that and it was a lovely performance from Brent Spiner. Mm-hmm. He slipped right back into Data's sort of childlike delivery of Captain. Mm-hmm. And they say, what was stolen? And he says, Jean-Luc Picard. Jean-Luc Picard. And it's like, yes, that's right, Data, but what was stolen? And it's the remains of Jean-Luc Picard. Why? Why would they steal the human remains of Jean-Luc Picard? Maybe to do a remake of Nemesis.
Oh, God. Oh, God, they've done this before. Oh, Lordy, Lord. Yeah, why? What? I don't know what the plot is here. So I just hope it makes sense and doesn't kind of this is their big, huge plot. This is this terrorist group.
They're not going to do that.
I don't know what they're going to do. I genuinely, as long as
it's going to be a big fucking space battle on Frontier Day with all the starships, and they're going to defend Starfleet, and it's going to be them up against everybody. It's going to be epic and amazing.
But look at the tightness of this season's structure. It's so tight. Look, it's all building up to, Frontier Day. Shit's going to go down the front. Tight as, exactly. As tight as a duck's arse. There's going to be a big event happening at Frontier Day. I wouldn't know personally, but I'll take your word for it. But yeah, I just like that simplicity and elegance. And a season like this, an action-adventure sci-fi show, should have that clarity. This is, Saturday morning entertaining viewing. It's totally fine to have something a little bit more mysterious and a little bit more sophisticated shows, but this knows what it is, and it's doing the job perfectly.
It is. It feels like It feels like a more adult version of Mandalorian. Comfort watching. But it's not dumbed down.
This is hard.
Yes. Yeah.
I was waiting for you to say something.
Yeah, I was looking at my notes to see what the next scene was. That's what was going on.
Well, we're at the end now, so we cut back to Riker getting 7 bells of shit battered out of him, and he's refusing to give up anything.
Leave him be. Get away from my Riker.
Yeah, leave him alone. Go after Thomas if you have to go after anybody. Leave him alone. Do you remember Thomas Riker?
Who the fuck was Thomas? Is he dead?
No, it was there was a transporter incident that happened where Riker, when he beamed aboard the ship, there was another version of himself stayed behind. And it was the identical version of Riker.
Oh, God, that was a heartbreaking episode. God, yeah.
And it spoke about basically that nature or nurture thing, that if you don't have the right people around you and you're not supported, what can happen to you? And he was a pathetic version of Riker where he never amounted to anything, and he was...
Yeah.
And I think they I can't remember how that storyline ended up, but I remember he was in a yellow uniform. Yeah, he still exists, yeah.
Like he went off to
he
his
meets
own
up a Troy
corner
every second weekend.
But that was like that trade as far as I recall.
Do you think that would actually happen? Where Troy would say, "Call in Thomas." I mean, it's you. It's nobody else.
Hey, listen, Thomas is that type of personality who probably wouldn't say anything. Yeah,
it's 2 of you.
Yeah, he probably wouldn't say anything. Oh my
Riker
God.
would be well up for it. Riker would be like, "Actually, you don't have to. You can go home, Troy. It's just be me and myself."
I just remember when you said Thomas, I was thinking of Riker's dad. Because I remember the episode where Riker's dad showed up and Riker's dad was a complete fucking asshole. I would like kick the shit out, like say, do...
Oh, he was one of those military dads who was very...
Star
tough.
Trek judo and kicked the shit out of Riker and stuff like that. And never took...
Where they were
just
playing
too hard.
gladiators with the big Q-tips and they were...
Yeah, that was it. So awkward looking. But anyway, very 90s.
Gladiators. And the changeling that's beating the shit out of him kills the other 2 and reveals herself to be Vadic, and she's cackling away. And Riker is on board the Shrike. And he says, "You're never going to get the information out of me. I'm just never going to give it up." And then she reveals behind the force field Troy. And
she goes, "Oh, Will."
And I thought even just that delivery was enough. Where it was like, oh, Will, look what we've gotten ourselves into.
Mm-hmm.
And Marina Sirtis is back. So there's going to be a rescue now to save Riker and Troy from the Shrike, and they are in the worst possible situation.
And it has a complication, like at the start of the series, where the one chink in his armor is Deanna Troy. Deanna Troy. I said it correctly. Oh, so can I ask you, just so I get clarity on that scene? So are they on board the Shrike the entire time? Because I'm just forgetting that scene right now.
No.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Because she turns on. So she turns on the other Starfleet officers. They transport back to the Shrike.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. The people that were boarding the Daystrom station.
Oh, okay, I'm with it. It's really good. A nice cliffhanger ending. I'm ready for episode 7.
And episode 7...
Tell me what it's not called, Kevin. Because you get the titles of these episodes wrong every week.
No, I've only done it twice.
Every week. Twice is every week, Kevin.
And I have the reputation of being the bully.
Come on.
Next week's episode is called Dominion.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Fuck off.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, take my word for it. Until they change the title, which they've done a couple of times this season so far, where they have changed imposter to imposters and bounty to the bounty.
I didn't know that.
Fascinating information for all you guys out there listening.
That's why I got so excited, because when I saw the HMS Bounty, I was going, "Oh shit, that's what the bounties were for! Oh my god, they're going to be aboard the bounty."
I thought it was those lovely coconut chocolate bars. It was like, oh, they all can have bounties. I love them. They're my favorite. They made me want to be a screenwriter.
Hate them. Absolutely hate them. Make me want to be.
And that's the end of the episode. So, Will, to close out, did you like this episode?
Yes, this episode is, for me, I'm going to give it 4 to 4.5 stars out of 5. I'm going to give it 3 bounties out of a celebration box. And that's as many bounties as should be allowed in a celebration box. So that's maximum bounties. How about you?
I'm going to give it 5 Snickers out of a celebrations box. I don't know. I don't have the energy to riff anymore, Will. Anyway, this was Star Trek Picard.
That's us.
And you can watch it on Paramount Plus and Amazon.
That would be the one.
Prime.
There you go.
That's it.
I'm all for it.
Will, it was good to talk to you.
Hey, great to chat to you, Kevin.
Good to chat to you too. See you guys. Bye.
Good luck.
Oh, Will.
And here is a clip from the lads' latest Mini Bits bonus show. The full episode, plus 80 more, are available on their Patreon.
See ya, Mossy. I gotta go in and record another one of these fucking Mini Bits.
Oh, yes, this is all it.
I know. What are you doing?
Right now, on the Academy screener site, and I hit play because there's only a few films on it for the first month or two. There's only like about less than 10 films on it. And Guy Ritchie's The Covenant is on here. So I hit play on that, and I'm hearing we're out in Afghanistan, and I'm hearing all the dirt, and I hear vehicles, and I hear the sound effects of characters walking. But when characters open their mouths, I don't hear any dialogue.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they've
no dialogue.
They've uploaded the wrong audio track. It's like that Tom Cruise trailer where it was just the sound effects.
Have you met an SP?
Yeah, and this film has been up on the screener site for a few weeks now, and they still have the wrong one here. Well, I tell you what films are actually up there for all Academy members to see, and to see what they've put up there.
But first of all, let's just throw to our theme. And I have to say, the feedback from my thank you ballad was quite fierce.
The power of Christ compels you.
So I asked Mossy, who is a friend of my dad's at the quiz, sing us a theme tune.
Oh.
So over to Mossy.
Hit the cards. I'm fine, I'll get it done in one take. It's the Mini Bits. Or podcast, what will they say? With Will and Kevin Cock.
Their best fucking podcast.
That'll do.
That'll do.
My God.
Thank you, Mossy.
You would make an angel weep. That voice would make an angel weep.
Telling you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Boolabus.
It only cost us 2 months Patreon money, so, you know.
Is that all? Money well spent in my eyes.
Yeah. I mean, you can't get much for €20. Will, you were telling me before the intro that you were looking at stuff on the Academy Screeners website.
The Academy Awards. So for official members, yes. So they don't send out DVDs anymore. So how you do all your streaming stuff is all via the Academy website. And the streaming season has begun, which is exciting. So it means for the rest of the year...
Did it ever end?
It does end. It does. After the Academy Awards, there's about 2 weeks, and they take all the films down, and then they begin again at the end of August, and they all start coming up. So it's a whole new collection of hopefuls.
So how many films are on there?
Right now, about 10. Actually, 10 exactly. I can tell you the 10.
Oh, go on, tell me.
John Wick 4.
For the Oscars. Oh, because there's like...
Yes, because they're adding in stunt category, aren't they?
Are they adding it in? Is the stunt category being added?
I believe they're adding in some sort of stunt category.
Breaking news straight from an Academy member's mouth.
Because they're adding in stunt category, aren't they?
Slash film.
I don't know. Did I read this in an article? I feel they were.
I
felt they were.
Have long overlooked stunts, and my God, it's pure artistry.
Yeah.
And it is incredibly, well, these days, it's all fucking rubber computer generated avatars.
That's why we should that's why these people should be getting their Oscars when someone's actually gone out there. Yeah,
go back,
absolutely.
Go back and give it to your man from Mad Max who broke his legs.
give it to Richard Farnsworth, who was a stuntman and starred in The Straight Story. Yeah, Richard Farnsworth was a career stuntman. Absolutely.
Wasn't that also the case with Machete? What's your man, Machete? Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo.
Is
Really?
it Trejo or Trejo?
I always call him Trejo. He just says, call me Danny.
I was going to say that back to you.
Nah.
I was like, just
weird.
Because we just call